Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, and today I'll be reading an Arlecchino Listener by me, so let's get into it. The icy wind howled around you as you trudged through the snowy plains of Snezhnaya, your breath coming out in visible puffs. The mission had been simple enough: gather intel on a rude Fatui agent. But now, with the storm worsening and your injuries mounting, it seemed far from simple. Boyan. Arlecchino's voice crackled through the communication device, her tone filled with uncharacteristic concern. Where are you? You're late. You winced as you pressed the device closer to your mouth, your arms throbbing with pain. I ran into some trouble. I'll be there soon. Define trouble, Boyan, she demanded, her voice laced with worry. And you glanced at the wound on your side, blood seeping through your makeshift bandage. Just a scratch. I'll manage. There was a brief silence before her voice came back, sharper than the cold around you. Stay where you are. I'm coming to get you. Arlecchino, you don't need to. That's an order, she interrupted, her tone leaving no room for argument. You sighed, knowing better than to argue with her when she was like this. You found a relatively sheltered spot, under a rocky overhang, and you settled down to wait. The cold seeped through your clothes and you shivered, pulling your coat tighter around you. It was not long before you saw her figure, emerging through the snowstorm, her lithe form moving with a grace that seemed out of place in such a harsh environment. As she reached you, her eyes scanned your body, quickly taking in the extent of your injuries. Damn it, Juan, she muttered, kneeling beside you. You said it was just a scratch. It is, you said weakly, trying to muster a smile. A very deep scratch. She shot you a glare that could have melted ice. Don't joke about this. We need to get you out of here. Carefully, she helped you to your feet, her arms supporting you as you leaned heavily against her. You could feel her warmth through her coat, a stark contrast to the biting cold around you. And as you stumbled together through the snow, you couldn't help but marvel at her strength and determination. Arlecchino, the knave, one of the most feared harbingers, was here for you, doing her best to ensure your safety. It was moments like these that reminded you just why you fell in love. Why did you come? You know it's my fault I got myself in this kind of mess, you asked, your voice barely audible over the wind. She glanced at you, her expression softening. Because I can't lose you, Ion. You're too important to me. And because you're a fool, and I know you're not going to take care of yourself. He chuckled softly, but you could tell that she was sincere, and her sincerity warmed you more than any fire could. You leaned closer to her, finding strength in her presence. I love you, Arlecchino. She pressed a quick kiss to your forehead, her eyes filled with a rare tenderness. I love you too. Now let's get you home, she said, and after what felt like an eternity, you finally reached a small hidden cabin, Arlecchino guiding you inside, and the sudden warmth made you shiver. She helped you to a chair, then quickly set about tending to your wounds. Her touch was surprisingly gentle, as she cleaned and bandaged your side. and you could only watch her in silence, the flickering firelight casting shadows on her face. When she was done, she sat beside you, taking your hand in hers. You need to be more careful, she admonished softly. I can't bear the thought of losing you, Ayan, she said, her eyes looking into your own. She was serious. She would never say such words. It was so unlike her. And yet, she felt like it was necessary to remind you, so you would not be so careless with yourself. You squeezed her hand gently, grateful for her presence. I'll try, Arlecchino. I can promise you that at the very least. I'll try my best. But you know how these missions can be. She nodded, her eyes reflecting the flames. I do. But promise me you'll take fewer risks. I promise, you said, leaning in to kiss her. Her lips were warm and soft, a stark contrast to the harsh world outside. And as you rested together by the fire, you felt a sense of peace, despite the pain and the cold. With Arlecchino by your side, you knew you could face anything. The mission might have been dangerous, but it had reminded you of what truly mattered. The love you shared with the woman who held your heart. Thank you for coming for me, you whispered, your eyes drifting closed, and she wrapped her arms around you, holding you close. Always, my aunt. Always, she said, and you knew she meant it. And in that moment, surrounded by her warmth and love, you knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, you would face them together. And with Arlecchino by your side, willing to do her best to protect you and keep you safe, he knew you were ready for anything. And as for her, she merely wished that one day you'll be able to take care of yourself and see yourself as someone important, someone who should not be endangering themselves to this extent. But for now, she will do her best until you can.